G'day guys, welcome to the first ever Scotty's Lockdown COVID Chats. I'm here with my very good friend, Tom Jowett. Happy Friday, Tommy. Again,
Happy Friday, Scotty.
This is a bit of a project for me, so we're saying Friday. It could be 2 Fridays from now when this is actually edited. It could be a Wednesday, who knows? Who knows? It might never come. I might be terrible at editing. Just before we quickly start, I just want to send my best wishes to my usual podcast partner, Sergio. He just recently lost his dad. Just want to, my condolences to his family. I can't imagine what they're going through at the moment. Just sending our best. Tommy knows Sergio as well. Just want to send our best.
With you, mate.
Yeah, not like enough shit has happened over the last year or so. But Tommy, how's lockdown treating you, mate?
Mate, it's like it's Groundhog Day. Just great movie. But there, it was at Christmas. You got to still go outside. Now it's like, just waking up, doing the same thing again and again.
It's like Groundhog Day, but it's like watching Groundhog Day 5 times a day, every day. And I love Bill Murray, but that's a lot of Bill Murray.
It is. And it's like that groundhog and the beaver. I feel like there's not going to be any like great meaning to this at the end.
Well, I'm glad you put those photos up behind you to cover the punch marks in the wall and the blood that you've left there from those couple of those long days, eh? Especially those days where like, I'm not drinking today.
I've started a lot of mornings like that and it hasn't followed through. That was my way of seeing if Groundhog Day was actually happening, and with the holes behind the images, no, Groundhog Day.
I'm with you there. Like I have good, like obviously you're working still. I'm not doing much at the moment. I'm trying to keep myself fit and stuff, but getting in a routine of trying not to go to bed too late and trying to get up at a normal time and then do some exercise. And then by about 11 o'clock, I'm kind of sitting there, I'm like, I don't know if I should open a bottle of wine yet. I clearly can't at 11 o'clock. I at least wait till 1. You got to flip those hours around.
Oh, I mean, it's the same on this side, even with your work. Like you lose that drive to do it, and all of a sudden your working hours just span. It's no longer like a 9 to 5 or an 8 to 5. It's you wake up, I'll have a quick look at the emails at 7:30. Look, I'll respond to this one. Emails coming in the evening, and you're like, well, the computer's right there. I might as well respond to it now. There's no real switch off.
You can't get away from it. That's the thing. Like, because the first thing we do in the morning is look at our phones generally. And I know you're a good businessman. You're a good worker. It's first emails first, and then you're stuck. You're in the trap already. The work trap. And
so often by 11 a.m. you're like, I should have breakfast.
Yeah, I find it really hard in lockdown to have like 3 meals a day. I find, especially when you're not doing much, like I think you like to go for a walk, you like to do some exercise as well. But it's like, I don't want to have breakfast, lunch and dinner. It's like, what have I been doing for the last 4 hours to earn a sandwich?
Burn off these calories.
Exactly. It's just adding on and adding on and adding on. I have to say though, compared to last lockdown, I spent last lockdown last year in the house that my parents were building, which was essentially an igloo with workers on site every day at 7. So there were no sleep-ins. The machines, that was properly when they were doing all the construction work. So someone was there on a machine at 7 in the morning every day. So it's like, get up, sit on the couch, start the day, couldn't do much, didn't have the energy to walk. How have you found the difference this lockdown?
I have found a difference because when I go for a run now, I notice people, as I'm about to cross them, they take a big breath in and they hold their breath as I run past them.
I think that's just you.
Or originally it was like we would split the sidewalk, but now they'll walk out onto the road to get away from me. I'm like, do I look like one of those COVIDs?
How often have you been showering? I think that's the real question here, because I love a shower, but it's like, I've started to realize now, especially the days where you don't do much. So I'm trying to do a bit of exercise every day. Like, there's no point doing a shower where you wash yourself every day. Like, my girlfriend's here half the time with me, but apart from that, I can only smell myself, and I'm pretty sure I have a deviated septum. So screw it.
I'm a bit like, I love the shower as well. And it's like a solitude of goodness in there. But then I feel bad that I'm wasting so much water. And it's like that way up of, do I make myself feel good in the shower?
That sounded really dirty when you said that for some reason.
This camera's still messing with me. But like, do I enjoy my time in the shower and then have that guilt that I'm wasting this water? Or do I not give myself that enjoyable time, but then not deal with the guilt of how much water I'm wasting?
You again also have your lovely wife living with you as well. So is there a moment sometimes where you just look at each other and go, which one of us is that smell coming from? And I know you, because I'm going to put this on YouTube, you're definitely not going to say it's your wife.
Well, the worst thing there was, yes, we have those moments, and she looks at me, and I look at me, and she's like, "It's your feet, isn't it?" I'm like, "Is it? Is it?"
Tommy, I played indoor soccer. I played a lot of sport with you in my time. You can get some smelly feet, and it's generally like you go do other stuff, but running is the thing that like it makes your feet smell.
I don't know how people wear shoes without socks. It blows my mind. How does that not make your shoes stink? How do your feet not get sweaty? Like,
oh, it's gross. It's gross. I did it when I was younger. Oh, never again. Oh, never again. Just get one of those thin socks. At least you need just the thinnest sock possible. Let all the sweat go into that thing.
Exactly. Something.
Yeah, because shoes don't come back from that.
No. But at the moment, we're trying to like break up our work day, Rachel and I. So instead of meeting by the water cooler, we'll stand outside the toilet and be like, "Hey, how's the day going?" And then that's our little corridor where we can actually talk to one another. And it's, "Oh, I've got an email, gotta go."
Do you pretend like you've never met each other and it's like this weird like sexual rendezvous? Like it's like you're hitting on each other a little bit?
We do that on a Tuesday morning and a Saturday night.
Oh, you've got it scheduled out.
It is. And Tuesdays, we're new like employees. "Oh, hey, how long you been in the area for? I haven't seen you.
Would you like to go for a coffee?" And then she says no, and you're like, "Oh, I came on too strong." So, mate,
that pretty much sums it up.
I don't know how I wanted this to go, but I've got like a bunch of questions, but they all kind of seem weird now that I'm looking at them. See if you can answer this question. I thought about this the other day and I realized it's just so much more casual what I'm doing with you. It's not a job interview. We could approach it like that. But so if you could go back in time, Tom, what advice would you give yourself before lockdown began?
Before lockdown began.
Let's say it's this lockdown. So not the lockdown we had last year when we spent most of winter in isolation or lockdown in our houses. But this time we obviously didn't see it coming here in New South Wales. And apparently we've stuffed up the whole of Australia and New Zealand. And New Zealand's blaming us too.
Sorry.
But let's say like it was 2 weeks before lockdown. We had no idea. And then future Tommy came and goes, "Tom, what would Tom say?"
Move to Perth. They've done all right.
They've figured it out. They didn't even want Clive Palmer there, so they've done well.
I know. I think I would try and prepare myself a bit better. So like what we were talking about a moment ago in having a routine, I'd try and have like weights or something to break up my day a little bit. So in the morning, okay, I've got my weights there. I'm going to do my weights and then I'm going to have my breakfast and then I'm going to start doing my work and break up my routine like that. If I couldn't make it to Perth due to my feet bringing down planes.
That's a real story. We might have to tell that later on. We'll save that for later, though. So move to Perth was the main.
Probably move to Perth. They've sorted it out. I mean, I guess the other one would. What I'm struggling with now is it feels like you're lacking a purpose a little bit because it is the same thing, and you don't really get to plan for a holiday. You don't really get to see what you're saving for. And Rachel and I, we don't have a dog, we don't have a cat, so that there's no sense or a child that either of us know about. So there's no. There's no sense of being able to have like a purpose right now, which is that difficult side of it. And I think it would be find something that I can really sink my free time into that I would enjoy.
It's almost, well, you're working full time as well. Like for me, I'm doing this because I was obviously doing the basketball podcast with Sergio. And Sergio was doing all the editing. He has a bit of a history. He's a filmmaker and he does videos. And I've never realized, like I will realize after we do this and I'll have to start editing, how hard it's going to be, I'm assuming. Because we used to make little videos for Reach Out, obviously, but very different, just taking still photos a lot of the time, turning them into a montage, adding some sappy trance song that I love. You need to find something to sink your teeth into, and when every day is the same, most days you can tell yourself, oh, tomorrow I'm going to do this. I'm going to start doing this. Every morning I tell myself, I'm going to wake up. I'm going to have my water with my lemon. I'm going to do yoga and go for my walk. Usually I start off, I lie on the couch, I watch TV, play my PlayStation. Eventually I'll do some yoga. Eventually I'll go for a walk. And then I'm like, I'm halfway through the day already, thank God, because at some point you're just like, oh my goodness, I'm bored shitless.
Yeah, and it's all right because you don't have that passion to be able to do something because, again, it's just the same thing every single day.
Yeah.
And that's where we're struggling. Well, that's where I would say I'm struggling at the moment in terms of getting out of that groundhog routine. And it's just find something to do.
We have to, because at the moment it looks like lockdown has been extended all of September because obviously we're struggling in Sydney at the moment. But we just have to get used to it. Like we've been 6-7 weeks or whatever it is now. It looks like there's going to be it's going to be doubled. So we're going to have that again.
Yep.
So you just got to find little things to do. And I think that's why I kind of wanted to do this podcast because we're all kind of stuck in the same thing at the moment. And it's nice to hear what other people are doing, what other people are watching, listening to, what they've changed, just to show everyone that, hey, like, I know it's hard at the moment. Things are pretty shitty. Like, it doesn't look great. The outlook's not great, but we're going to get there eventually. So we just have to figure out, like, how to keep ourselves going for the next 5, 6, 7, however long it is. Which is one thing. So the next question I was going to ask you, what do you miss the most about freedom? Such a weird word, but not being stuck at home.
A little while ago, I did an exercise session with one of my soccer lads, and the session was horrible. I almost died. But what I noticed being with someone else is you never realized that there was a weight on your shoulder, but once you had that social contact and social interaction with a friend, someone, you realize that weight starts to go.
Yeah.
And so having that experience, it's definitely what everyone would say. They'd miss the social element. They miss seeing their friends or seeing their family being interstate, not being able to travel. We were hoping to go to New Zealand in August. That's blown out the window.
Yeah, unfortunately. You can go to Camaray Park. That's about as far as you can go. You can't even see me. You're 6 kilometers away from me, so... Sorry. We're social creatures. Like we love to interact. Most people are social creatures, but we love to interact. And like you're saying, I can't wait to be able to actually go to a pub and actually sit down and have a beer with you. I'm probably going to blow up at how expensive everything is now that I'm buying a $15 bottle of wine, and that does the job. But
I just feel sorry for my mate Jordan. At the start of the lockdown, he's like, you know what? I'm going to do something healthy. I'm not going to have alcohol until I can have it at a pub.
How long did it last?
I should really check in on him.
Yeah, I was going to say, if there's anyone you should check in on, it's the guy that's scratching the walls. Especially if you have alcohol in your house and maybe he's looking at it every day going, don't touch it. Don't touch it.
It's like that Simpsons episode, no TV and no beer and no TV makes Homer go something, go crazy. Don't mind if I do.
Yeah, 100%. I think we all miss just seeing our family. Like it's hard not being able to see your family. You've got nieces, I've got nieces, and my parents are they're very lucky their house is being built, but they've been in the Hunter Valley and they can't move. So I haven't seen my parents in a few months, and the moment is looking like another couple months. They're stuck up there, which it's not the worst place to be stuck. And it wasn't especially up there because up until 2-3 weeks ago, they were still open. Everything was operating up there until a couple cases got up there, and now they can't go anywhere either. They were allowed to have 10, 15 people at home. They always have friends over for drinks. Everyone up in the Hunter, mate, they tell you what, those people aren't short on alcohol. They love a drink up there. There's no Monday, Tuesdays off the drink if you live in the Hunter Valley, I'll tell you that.
Well, I tell you, you'd probably just wheel one of those barrels into your apartment, wouldn't you? And you just have a little tap at the bottom.
100%.
So instead of feeling bad that you've gone through a bottle or 2 bottles, if you've got a barrel, it doesn't matter. You don't know how much you've gone through. It could just be 1 bottle.
Maybe you don't even finish the barrel and you go, I haven't even had 1 barrel. I haven't even had 1 barrel. Oh, but obviously, mate, I think we've all been sitting here just watching as much TV as we can. Like, I think we're all going to have square eyes by the end of this. But what's been your go-to? What have you and Rach started watching? What's become your new favorite show?
So it's a little strange. We're watching the Marvel universe, but the highlight of the show is the credits. And the reason why that is because apparently Rachel's worked out that it doesn't happen just once, but in the credits I'll have 2 or 3 snippets of the next shows. And that's what she gets most excited about, watching what might actually happen in the next show rather than what's just happened in the movie.
You know, the craziest thing is I think I skipped the credits because with Disney shows especially, there's like 3 minutes before the show actually starts, and then the show stops about 8 minutes before it says it's going to end. So you sit there and I'm like, something's going to happen to Loki, and then it's like, oh, no, I give up, but maybe I shouldn't give up.
Yeah, so in like with the Marvel universe, with the movies, the credits are 13 minutes long. And so it's like, do you want to end now? But if you actually fast forward, there are snippets to like little hidden pieces of other movies or of information in that movie that they just don't include.
Oh, the one thing I clearly haven't learned in lockdown is patience, because I'm just like, next. Are you talking about like stuff like Loki? You guys watch Loki?
Have watched Loki. No, we're talking more about like, so when I say the Marvel universe, the Marvel movie series in chronological order. So in chronological order.
To tell you what, I've watched the Marvel movies so many times this lockdown as well. They're pretty easy to watch and kind of just like stare at the TV and not know what's happening.
Have you watched the credits?
No, but I feel like that's the one thing I'm going to do after I watch a lot of footy later after this interview. I'm going to have to go back through the credits and see what I missed out, because those Marvel movies especially, I've told my girlfriend this, like you have to watch almost all of them in order to understand what is actually going on. Otherwise, there's so much stuff that relates to movies from the past that you're like, oh my God.
Yes, or they foreshadow movies in the future, and you're, that's where that comes into play too.
Oh, the old foreshadow, hey? We're getting fancy now with the film critics.
Normally, like for you, it looks like this is my first beer, but really, it's about number 6. I started at lunchtime. Sorry, Laura.
It's Friday somewhere here. Actually, it's Friday here. To be honest, every time you talk, I have a drink of my wine. I just realized that I poured myself a pretty big glass of wine as we were starting. It is gone. So it's like, might need a break in a second just to pour another one. But
and again, that's where the barrel would come in handy. You wouldn't feel bad about finishing a bottle of wine. It would just be another glass.
So I'm planning after this interview, if we say you're my first victim, I'm going to have a barrel of wine. I'm going to have a keg of beer. What does tequila come in? Because I'll just buy a plant to put in the corner if I can just suck on it. But
I think it should be one of those pumps, where you pump it up and then it just like you unleash it, and that way you can just have a little shot. But it's the pumping of a box that really starts sending it through.
But is that exercise as well then? Is that like a little bicep workout?
It's like TNT, isn't it? It's just going to blow up soon.
Because everyone's forearms, I reckon, are getting pretty good from doing these ones. I have to switch to my left hand every now and then because my right hand's getting too big. That sounded bad.
You're smarter than Quagmire then.
Yeah, exactly. But so the Marvel films, anything else you guys have been watching? Maybe something different that maybe no one else has watched that they could give a crack to?
That is different.
I'll give you one. This one, like I fell in love with last year, and we're both born in 87. We're both 80s kids, but I grew up watching, I love 80s films. I grew up especially loving The Karate Kid. That was like, my hero was Mr. Miyagi as a kid. And I adored the Cobra Kai series. Did you end up watching that?
I watched the first season and got halfway through the second season.
It's one of those things that really divides people. Some people think it's absolutely terrible or they love it. But I think the people who love it are like me, and they grew up watching Daniel San and versus Cobra Kai and all these things. And
I have
Yeah.
recently gone back to some of like our childhood movies. So I'm trying to remember the movie, but anyone our age would know it. It's the Sandlot Kids, I think it is. So it's a baseball movie,
yes.
and the ball goes in the backyard with the dog.
The ball signed by Babe Ruth.
Yes.
Great
yes.
film. Great film.
Did that recently. Did Field of Angels. If you build it, they will come.
Did you actually see what happened recently where they actually did an actual game in the States? It wasn't an actual game, but they made it look, and they had two proper MLB teams, Major League Baseball teams, come out of the cornfields into a proper ground. Did you see that?
I thought Google was just messing with me and just advertised me
And
because I
Kevin
watched this.
Costner.
The Google
Kevin Costner was
my
there too.
advertising is going to be on point.
Yeah, Kevin Costner comes out, and then like the Cubs and the Yankees, I believe, actually come out behind him. The actual teams from now in the old jerseys.
No.
I don't know if they played a game, but I doubt it. But yeah, it was really cool. Something
It'd be a
different.
bit weird to get both teams at a baseball field and be like, all right, bye guys.
Yeah, thanks. You're all like earning $1 million a game. Thanks for coming. Now peace off. I tell you what, when Tommy and I used to work together, people don't know, Tom and I used to work together a few years ago. Tom started an amazing organization called Reach Out Volunteers. Sadly, COVID killed it.
COVID
Killed that because there's no traveling and we're not allowed to leave Australia anytime soon, it seems. But we missed kind of like, we're in a period in that 2010 to 2014 area, missed a lot of TV shows. So I'm like picking up shows that everyone watched years ago. So I've just started Breaking Bad, which I'm really enjoying. But the show that I am like at the moment, the episodes are really long, but I'm obsessed with is Peaky Blinders. Have you seen Peaky Blinders?
I recently did Peaky Blinders.
Sometimes it's a little bit hard to understand what's going on in that show because everyone talks like this and everyone's like, yeah. It's like, I don't know what's going on half the time, but it's brilliant.
Yeah, I think it's one of those shows that you almost need subtitles on.
I was thinking about putting the subtitles on the other day, but I'm like, that's cheating. Like, clearly.
Yeah, it is because it's English and it's like, do I really need subtitles for English?
Well, Tom Hardy's in the second season and he plays the head of like the Jewish gangsters, and bloody hell, in most of his movies, I never have a clue what he's saying because he mumbles or I don't know if he opens his mouth half the time he's talking. When I sat there, I was like, great actor, great part. I don't know what he's talking about though.
I'm doing the TV series where the girl touches a rock and goes back in time.
What? Did you just make that one up or?
She's a Scottish lass.
She touches a rock and she. Let's see if this. Hey Siri, what's the show with the Scottish lass that she touches a rock and goes back in time? Come on, Siri, you got this.
Sorry, I can't search by topic, but I can search by title, actors or directors, and categories like thrillers or comedies.
Okay, so Siri's useless. Clearly, I'm not going to have Apple as a sponsor because you've just disappointed me and everyone else. I'm getting a Samsung. Do you know what the show's called? A girl touches a rock and goes back in time. A girl touches a rock.
Now I'm Googling. Girl touches rock, goes back in.
Make sure you spell rock correctly.
That is TV show. You'll know it as soon as I say it. Outlander.
Oh, Outlander. Okay, I've never seen that. That's why I had no idea what you were talking about.
Fair enough.
Nice. A good show?
Not a bad show. I mean, it wasn't bad. I got into New Amsterdam, but I got sick of crying at the end of every single episode.
So you've said I've never seen that, but you've said two shows and you haven't really sold them very well. You're like, it was good, but then I just gave up on it halfway through.
Because you just can't cry at the end of every episode.
Yeah, it's not in lockdown. Like every now and then, but if you're in lockdown, you're watching a show back to back to back and you're crying after every episode.
No, and Rachel comes out and I'm like, and she's, you feeling okay? And like, I think I'm looking fine. I've got like mascara coming down my face. It's all just blotchy everywhere.
That would make your like dates by the water cooler a little bit awkward because now she knows you like to cry after a couple TV shows. Is it a sad
Okay,
show, or
I'll
is it
give it
just
a name.
it's not even? Or I'm assuming it's a sad
They
show.
do they do the heartstrings. They're like, here's little Timmy. He runs. He survived all this. And then at the end of the show, oh, Timmy died.
Timmy died. I just guessed what happened because I knew it was going to be sad. Oh, Timmy.
And you're like, no, Timmy, you could have made it.
So are you saying that they just kill a kid at the end of every show? Is that what you're watching?
It doesn't have to be a kid. It could be like a wife. It could be a sister. It could be one of the employees.
But someone dies no matter what.
Pretty much, yeah. Or they save them, and then little Timmy gets to go home, and you're like, oh, Timmy, you didn't die like the other Timmy.
But then at the end of the credits, like Marvel, if you watch it, Timmy actually died.
Then
Timmy actually
the
died.
hospital in a semi-trailer.
Oh, God. This podcast turned dark really fast. I might need another sip of wine. I tell you what, I'm pretty sure, hopefully we don't get in trouble for this, but you have my Stan details. I mean, everyone pays for Netflix and Stan and all those things. No one shares anything.
No, definitely not.
Have you watched, I got my dad into this before COVID, when my dad used to come down from the Hunter and stay a night at my house. I used to always put on this show. It's called Friday Night Dinner. Have you seen Friday Night Dinner?
I think I have seen a couple episodes, and the brothers are a bit.
Yeah, it's got the guy with the glasses. I forgot his name, from the Inbetweeners, and it's him, his brother. It's about this family with two boys. They're in their 20s, and every Friday they have their like traditional Jewish dinner, and just everything that could go wrong goes wrong. And he's like, it's possibly one of the funniest shows I've ever seen, to the point where every time my dad would come over, like we'd end up watching it, and I'd be laughing, but I'd be watching my dad to kind of make sure he doesn't have a heart attack, because he'd be laughing so bloody hard, like his whole face would go red. So I told my parents to watch it. I'm like, just put an ice pack on Dad's head every now and then, because it's so good. So if you haven't seen it, guys, I don't know if you're all watching. It's on Stan in Australia. It is brilliant. Friday Night Dinner.
You have reminded me. There's an Irish show, and I think it's Frank's Island or something. And like that, it's just these two friends, and they're just so they're so dumb, and he's trying to create a band, and he's trying to get his band like well known. And so
what's the name of the show?
Dad was, I think it's like Frank's Island. It's on Amazon. And so then the dad, that his mum is banging and he's sleeping with the Sauce sister. Okay. So anyway, it's
That's
like my mum.
That explanation.
The grandmother died. And so the dad was like, hey, look, can you just play a song at the funeral? And so he's like, I'd really like you to play this song. And then he's like, yeah, fine. And then he sees how many people are at the funeral. He's like, no, I'm not playing this shitty ass song. It's too slow. It doesn't create a mood. I want people up and dancing. And it's just the most awkward like situations that he puts himself in. And I see myself in him a lot.
For those who are watching this, who have never met my friend Tom, maybe you've never met me, Tom is the most awkward human being in the world. And most of us aren't sure if it's on purpose. Part of it has to be on purpose, because it is very funny to watch Tom put himself in these situations where it's always going to backfire, but everyone apart from Tom is going to laugh, including the person who Tom's making awkward. But brilliant.
It's like an accident happening in slow motion, and I don't realize until it's too late. And there's no way of getting out of this accident.
It's a car crash. It's one of those.
Yeah,
you can see it happening, but you can't take your eyes off it. Oh, okay. So I think everyone's been sitting there. I see the Post, the Australia Post, and all the couriers vans non-stop. So I'm pretty sure everyone is also at home ordering random shit, whether it be useful or useless. What have you ordered? Because I'll tell you now. So I've ordered a couple of things. I've ordered what have I ordered? I've ordered some weights. I've ordered some weights that I've used. I've been feeling lazy sitting at home, so I just ordered I'm pretty sure it's for old people, but it's like the bicycle that just you put on the floor and you just like do your feet back and forth. Man, I'm good at explaining stuff. I've got clearly pretty dumb during lockdown. It's like a little, you know what I mean?
No,
They're
yeah,
pedals.
right.
No, they're little
Yeah.
pedals. You just put on the ground and you sit up and you just pedal. That's hard laziness.
You're too young for them. Didn't you read like the terms and conditions? It's like,
Yeah.
warning, if you use this when you're under 70, you'll look like a tosser.
But who's going to look at me doing it? I'm doing it at home, and it's more expensive than a bike. So it's like, either pay a couple $100 to get a bike or pay $50 to look like a tool when I'm alone, sitting here doing, I can't even do it.
So now, so I understand this. Your Mrs. Dillette can walk in and you'll be sitting on a chair doing this, like you're running and like you're pedaling, but you're doing nothing because it's so small. And you spent $50 on this thing.
I thought it was a bargain. I thought that $50 is the cheapest.
Back and do your exercise.
That's just shitter. That is a lie on my back and pretend like I have the thing that I bought for $50 from eBay. Are you kidding? I'd rather spend $50. I'll probably use it once, and then I'll buy a bicycle anyway. Apart from that, what else have I bought? I bought some crap. I tell you that. I bought some stuff in my car, and then I realized I'm probably not going to be. I bought like car deodorant, which is a thing. I bought some new mats because my car doesn't have mats. I drive like.
Did you put the car deodorant under the wheels? So it's like, there you go. These are the smelly areas.
You don't smell. No one's going to judge you. You can wear shoes without socks. No one's going to care. What about you? Have you guys gone on a shopping spree on eBay or Amazon or the Iconic? I don't know.
The bad thing is these days, I actually just go on these websites and just browse for shit. I'm like, I don't think I need this, but it would be handy to have. So we bought a proper bike. You know what? No, I'm going to show you my bike.
Oh, please do. Let's go on a little adventure through Tommy's apartment.
Here we go. Yeah.
I am smashing most of this bottle during this interview, so it should be a fun next couple of hours.
So we bought this bike.
Oh, fancy.
I haven't used it yet. We've had it for about a month. No. We wanted to add a bit more ambience to our apartment.
A bit of ambience.
So exactly. So to build that ambience, we bought.
Is that a new TV or is it a real heater?
It's a fan heater.
That is. Can I just ask for the viewers, how much did that set you back?
Everything's $50 these days.
I swear to God, everything. Then it's like, this is pretty crap. What are we going to charge for it? Pineapple.
Yep. We wanted to get a vegetable garden up and going, but to do that right, we needed the extra pieces. So to make sure everything would grow correctly, we bought an elephant water tank.
Very nice, very nice.
Trunks up, so you know it's good luck.
Mm-hmm.
But apparently everything's dying in our garden.
Do you guys get a lot of sun? Are you facing the sun? Oh yeah, you definitely face the sun. That's east.
We get a fair chunk of sun. Not direct sun, but like there's a lot of sun out there.
I'm pretty sure I woke up. There's a lot of sun out there. I'm pretty sure I've woken up on your couch, hungover with the sun in my face, going, "I hate you, son."
Yeah, that definitely happens.
Yeah, easterly.
We got into our naked wines.
Oh.
So now, after a few months of doing naked wines, we've stepped up our game and we do virgin wines. So with virgin wines, you can get like 15 bottles for $11 a bottle, but they're quite good wines. I'd say that they're a slight tier above naked wines.
Is there alcohol? Is there alcohol in the wine?
Yeah, it's Virgin Airlines. They do.
Oh,
wines.
Virgin do. Oh, clearly they can't fly at the moment, so they're like, you know what? Let's get into the wine industry because that makes complete sense.
But now that you say that, why is it naked wines? Why is it virgin wines? Why is there a similarity in all of this?
But they're going to have to go the other way soon. It'd be like pack-in wines. That's a big wine. I think that's a good company. That's too big for me, wine.
And so you've just made the good point. One of the reasons why I bought this new box of wines, I've bought a few cases now, is they had a magnum of wine. And so I was like, you know what? I'd like a really big wine.
Did you get the magnum?
It hasn't been delivered but yes.
Nice. I'm so jealous.
So it's predominantly heaters that generate better looks than they do heat, because I think one of the fans in the heater is actually broken.
It's already fucking broken.
It's exercise equipment that were like, you know what, no one's going to see us in lockdown, so we'll start doing that when we know there's a date to get out of lockdown. Vegetable gardens, it's like, you guys are just too needy. They want water all the time.
They're like kids, mate. They're like kids. You gotta they need water and sustenance and food, plants, kids. I'd say that. So you've
alcohol.
So alcohol, heaters, and wine, and a bike that hasn't been used. Okay, let's stick to the vegetable garden. Okay, I think a lot of people are cooking a lot at home. I get pretty lazy. I cook like most of my meals, but then every second night I'm like, I want to order something. I have food in the fridge. I'm just bored. I want something different that I can't make. What have you guys learned to cook? Or what's become your like new favorite ingredient that you're like starting to use in everything? Deep.
We actually... Cooking's an escape, because when you cook, you can't do anything else. So we're now trying to roll out like a date night once a week where we can cook something decent and spend quality time together. So last week we did a seafood marinara.
Oh.
And
sorry.
There was lots of oysters.
And a little bit of food poisoning, if I can remember correctly.
Look, that came from the reheats, not the actual cooking.
Okay. Well,
yes.
We'll blame the marinara mix that you get from the fish markets and everything.
Yeah. Did koftas the other night.
Oh, a bit of lamb?
Lamb koftas,
yeah. Koftas, very nice.
Did the not baba ganoush. What's the coriander all chopped up?
Are you talking about parsley? Did you make tabbouleh?
Tabbouleh, yeah. It's one of the things I do struggle with, telling the difference between parsley and coriander.
Oh, don't say that to my girlfriend. My girlfriend hates parsley with it's like parsley did something to her family years and years ago. That's how much she hates parsley. But then I'm the simplest eater. I like everything. You could give me a piece of shit on a stick, and if you cook it right, I'll eat it. But coriander is heaven for me. And people are really weird about coriander.
I don't know why.
It's delicious.
Yes, and it can be a seasoning. It can be a salad, but so what?
Exactly.
What did this little thing do to you?
Exactly. It tastes delicious. All you coriander haters out there, I've got my eye on you, okay? I can't do anything, but I've got my eye on you. So nice. You made some tabbouleh. You've made some seafood marinara.
We do like our little, if we want to have like a fat night, which is every single day in lockdown at the moment, we would also do make your own pizzas and whatnot.
Nice.
Oh, that was another splurge. We bought a bread maker. We bought a cake maker.
How many loaves of bread and how many cakes have you made since?
My birthday has happened, and I didn't get made a cake on my birthday. So,
but you got some bread. Did you get bread?
Let me close this door. we could get in trouble.
I think you could get in trouble. I am 6 kilometers away. I can't get in any trouble. Just mental scarring. Nice.
Well, you guys made a couple of loaves of bread.
How's the bread?
Decent. It's great for the first day. When it comes out, you get the smell. The butter melts on it. It's perfect. I don't know how the supermarkets do it, so it lasts for 2 months for them, because
there's got to be some ingredient, some dodgy MSG or something.
Yeah, ours lasts 2 days, and then it's a brick, a literal brick, where my knife will go blunt if I try and cut the bread.
Jesus. Yeah. When I buy bread these days, I don't try to eat as much bread as I used to. Like, I used to love bread. I have bread every meal. That's the wog in me. My family's Portuguese. So if there's anything remotely that looks like sauce or oil, you have bread, like 3 slices of bread just to dip that stuff because you can't waste the oil and everything. But so now every time I buy a loaf of bread, I'll use it for, I'm still in my microwave at the moment, which, do you put it in the microwave? Because I feel like most people do. It's such a weird place to put bread. Or you do not put bread
No, I
in the
don't do
microwave.
that.
So I got
No,
taught.
I cut it up. I cut it up and freeze it because I don't use it fast enough.
Well, that's what, for the first couple of days when it's very fresh, like at the moment, I just bought a loaf of Helga's. So I like the bread with all the seeds and stuff. Makes me feel healthier and like a bird. And so after a few days, I just chuck it in the freezer. And then I just, I use it whenever I need it after that. And as soon as you put it in the toaster, it just cooks normally. So
yeah, exactly.
But hey, who needs Helga's when you got Tom's?
You're right.
Is there a Tom's? Tom's loaf.
It's more Rachel's loaf. Rachel's cob.
Well then, okay. I'm going to take away my yeast joke that I was going to say now that you said that. So all right, Tommy, we've been talking for a while. So let's say, who knows? We've got another 6 weeks, whatever, in lockdown. What's the first type of restaurant you're going to go to? What's the one thing that you want the people from that country to make you, if that makes sense? People
from that country. So people from Australia to make me.
No, because like a lot of these people like live at these restaurants. You go to a Thai restaurant, you're not going to have like, "G'day, mate, how you going? You want a pad Thai?" Hopefully you have someone Thai that actually knows how to cook Thai food.
What Rachel and I have been craving for a while is proper barbecue, because again, being in an apartment, we can't use our smoker. We can't do like slow cooked marinated ribs to perfection. Yeah. So we'd probably go out for ribs and wings and tap beer, like beer off a tap. Like,
I'm gonna ring myself in when that happens, because I could smash a rack of ribs and some corn and I'm making myself hungry right now. Yeah, that's good.
What about you?
To be honest,
isn't it?
It's so hard because I order stuff a couple times a week, but there's certain things you don't really want to order just because it's so much better eating it at that kind of restaurant, like ribs. I actually ordered ribs a couple of weeks ago from some random place up the road. I'm not going to mention it. But once the ribs are cooked and they get to your house like 20, 30 minutes later and all that stuff, it's just not the same. And you go to a proper like barbecue place. Like, we don't have a lot of barbecue in Sydney. That's really not like the big thing in Australia, but they do it well. For me, I go to an Italian place. I like to I haven't eaten as much pasta. Like a good pasta, or like, even ordering pizza at home is not the same when you go there and it comes out of that pizza oven and it is like steaming as it comes to your table, and you got maybe some buffalo mozzarella on the side, a rocket salad, and you sit olives, and I'm dribbling on myself a little bit, but
No, look, I was thinking Italian as well, and one of the things that you never think about when you order pizza is you see it when it gets delivery to you, but the thing that Pizza Hut and Domino's does really well is actually hides all the other people the driver has to deliver pizza to, because they can't just drive your pizza to you back to the store to drive it to the next person and back to the store. So they wait and accumulate a few, and then only when it ticks over to their dropping your pizza off do they move it onto, we're delivering your pizza. So by then, the cheese isn't that nice, gooey, hot, like perfect cooked cheese. It's becoming like plastic.
I just wanted to say that I was hoping to have Domino's as a sponsor, but that has gone out the window now. The pizzas are fresh, hot, and whatever else the slogan is. Unless you order,
got to get a $5 pizza.
Woo! Unless the pizza comes shitty and the cheese is stuck to the top of the box and all the bad stuff. Okay, so let's say that we come out of lockdown in September as well, September, October, wherever, and let's say the world opens up once we're all double vaccinated and all that stuff. You got a little bit of money to your name. Where do you and Rachel, where's the first place that you go, we have to go visit?
Look, I think to be fair, it would be the UK. So see our family, see her friends, be able to be there because when you travel, my philosophy is however many hours that flight is how many days you have to be there for, minimum.
100%.
Yeah. Otherwise, it takes too long to get over any sort of jet lag when you're going that far. And if you're only there for a short period of time, it's almost not worth it. So it would be the UK, because once we had our friends fixed, once we had our family fixed, then we can start going into the other areas which we'd like to do, whether that's Iceland, if we had an unlimited source of cash and we can just afford to do
I heard
that.
it's expensive,
If
Iceland.
not, Iceland's so
Yeah,
expensive.
tiny. There's only like, what was it, 400,000 people or something is the population of Iceland? I might be wrong there, but it's like, it's a really small country, but I've heard it's stunning.
Yeah. So we would love to do that. There's a lot more places in Europe would love to go. So there's so much choice doing that.
Obviously, it takes
that,
takes us forever to get to Europe from Australia. So you have to go there, and like you got to make sure it's a solid trip and enjoy yourself. Go see places. Like I know you love to travel and you like to explore and see places you've never seen before. And is there anywhere off the top of your head, apart from Iceland, that you just go, I really want to go there?
Morocco, Western Sahara Desert, see the Northern Lights and see a wild polar bear. Top of the head.
So you're going to Iceland, you're going to go for a trek and try find a polar bear. Hopefully you don't die. Then you're going to make your way to the desert where your body temperature is going to be like, what the F are you doing to me? And then we finish up.
Yeah, but imagine like, maybe not so much like, I guess to get to the Western Sahara Desert, I got to go through Morocco, but like I'd love to go to the Western Sahara Desert. Just because the rolling dunes, that would be like a waves in an ocean, but it's just constant sand. Sure, I might not like it after like a month, but being there and being out there would be such a different experience than anything else.
Yeah, definitely.
So then like if I wanted to go really see the Northern Lights, I'd go real North Norway, where you've got like these almost sort of glass igloos out in these gorgeous areas. And so if you could do it in summer, you're surrounded by springs, lakes, forests, and at nighttime, hopefully, I mean, does it get dark there at nighttime in summer? Well, in this conversation, it does. And so then the Northern Lights going on above the top be on point.
Man, that sounds amazing. It's like we both spent a lot of time in Canada working. We both lived there before when we were a bit younger. I know they have it up like proper north where it gets freezing cold in Canada, but that's the bucket list. And I think that you watch, as soon as we start opening, I think people are gonna, like, traveling's gonna be, the airlines are gonna be booked like that, because people are so keen to start traveling again. And for me, like my girlfriend's from Turkey, and I've never been to Turkey. My sister told me about Turkey, said it was absolutely amazing. She kept going back. You've been there. I really want to go. She needs to see her family there in Ankara, which is the capital. But I want to go spend 2-3 weeks over there in Turkey and go see all of it. And then I've got family in Portugal I haven't seen in 2006 was the last time I was there. So it's been 15 years. And from there, it's a boat ride across to Morocco. So Morocco is definitely on my list as well. And I love Middle Eastern food. I want to eat everything that's been cooked in a tagine ever. Just everything that soaks up all that flavor and yummy bread. And
I think the countries that will struggle, though, are going to be the developing countries, because people aren't going to feel comfortable going there with hospital systems. If they do catch COVID and it hasn't been eradicated, it's these locations that's going to struggle, and they're probably the locations that rely on tourism the most too.
Yeah, 100%. Well, look at Bali. Like, have you been to Bali before?
No, strangely not.
My parents, they had their honeymoon in Bali. We used to go on family holidays to Bali. The restaurants are there are amazing. Everything's really cheap. The people are really beautiful over there as well. But like they're stuffed. Like that whole like island was a tourist island, and there are a lot of those places around Europe, around the world. You just haven't seen anybody in. It's been more than a year now. So there are a lot of people struggling. So we obviously, at the moment, once we lock down, we've got to spend a bit of time traveling around Australia. We've got to see our beautiful country and help people get back on track in our economy. But then people need to enjoy the world again. Like it's one of the most amazing things, like we can travel and experience new places and different cultures and people. And oh mate, like you are, I can't wait.
I like the little plug for Tourism Australia in there. Tourism
Yeah.
Australia, we're looking for sponsors.
For a little up the top, I'm trying to point at where. No, it'll be down here. It'll be up there somewhere. Yeah,
You got to look at it.
Tourism
You got
Australia.
to look at your camera.
Yeah, I don't know how that works. I'm looking at myself on the Zoom thing, which clearly isn't working. Tommy, off the top of your head, I want to hear a funny joke or a funny story. I'll start off because the other day, man, I've watched a lot of YouTube, and YouTube takes you down some weird spirals. But I ended up watching some highlights from a show that we would have watched when we were kids called Agro's Cartoon Connection. And I do not understand how this show got away with the stuff that they said. It was very sexist. Like Agro was like a misogynist. He said some of the craziest stuff ever, but he said a joke on the show that I was watching the other day. Man, I laughed for about 10 minutes. And it goes, why don't blind people bungee jump? Because it scares the shit out of the dogs. I don't know if that's funny, but that made me laugh so bloody hard. He had a few other ones, but I can't even say them on a podcast. And they were on a children's TV show in the morning when we were kids.
Well, that's so true, especially that it's targeted towards kids as well. It's like,
yeah, have you got a joke off the top of your head, Tommy, or a funny story you want to tell us?
oh, a joke off the top of my head. Well, let's hope you've got an older demographic. What does burnt pizza, frozen beer, and a pregnant lady have in common?
I have no idea.
An idiot that didn't pull out in time.
All right, we might ask Tom for another joke because I don't know that make the cut.
Because he didn't pull out the pizza of the oven, didn't pull out the beers in the freezer. Okay.
The fact that you had to explain that is even better. Like, I was going to be like, that's too much for this podcast. But you know what? Stuff it. Who cares? I'm going to click the not meant for kids part anyway, clearly. Tommy, is there anything you want to... We're obviously stuck at home. We're all pretty lucky at the moment. Most people in Sydney, most people in Australia. I just want to send out a message to other people in the world who are struggling at the moment in lockdown, but especially to Afghanistan. We've got one of our closest friends, his family's from Afghanistan, and it's terrible what's happening right there. I haven't started a GoFundMe or anything, but if you have any spare money, like send some money to what's happening over there. Some of the groups, especially some of the groups help supporting women, because things are about to change in Afghanistan for the worst. And I wish the best of everything. I send all our love and everything over there. It's a crazy time, and just hope everyone's okay. And Tom, is anyone you want to send out a message to?
Just touching on that one, Scotty, I'm trying to remember because there's a amazing cause and an amazing GoFundMe set up already for rescue flights into Afghanistan. And so it's these flights to fly in there, and they were aiming to raise $500,000. And I'm trying to remember what director actually got involved and plugged this, but they've now raised $5 million. And the $500 was to get a giant like Hercules plane in there, private security, and to be able to, I think they were trying to get 500 people of the most wanted list, which is Al-Qaeda has a list of individuals that they're looking for, that they're trying to do public executions of. And so it was try and get these individuals out of Afghanistan and then put them up. And it's gone from 500,000, and they've been able to raise $5 million. And the whole cause has grown significantly now. And it's no longer just about flights. It's about getting them out and getting as many people that are on this list out. And then once they're out, being able to try and set them up and being able to allow them to look after themselves that way. So it isn't just okay, we've got them out of one problem and we're going to put them in another problem. And it was a phenomenal cause. So give me 1 second, because I did have it up. And I was
Tommy, don't worry about it now, mate. What you send me that, and once I do all my editing and everything, I'm going to put what Tom just mentioned, that GoFundMe, and my friend Jules and his sister Tina, who their family's from Afghanistan, they've had some really amazing GoFundMes as well. I'm going to grab those details and they'll all be in the description in the below on YouTube. That's it for my first one, guys. Thank you for listening. Please like and subscribe. I'm going to try to do these. I'm going to try to do as many of these as I can. Just have a chat to different people, see what they're doing. If you want to give back, there's always ways to, guys. Please do. But that's it. This was the first, what did I call it? Scotty's COVID lockdown chats. My good friend Tom. Tom, you go enjoy your bike. Go make some bread. Go make some pizza. Go stand in front of that heater. Thank you for being the first person on my chat, mate.
Pleasure, mate. And yeah, you too. You enjoy your night and I'll talk to you soon.
Thank you very much, guys. Peace out, Tommy. Love you, brother. Thanks, mate.
Bye, guys.